The soft life didn't just pop up out of nowhere on TikTok and Pinterest. Black women were practicing it during America's hardest times. The Nadir. That was the so-called lowest point in race relations after Reconstruction. And even then, Black women, they were brilliant. I read this article by Ava Purkis called The Paradox of Pleasure. She poses the question, how do you talk about Black joy without minimizing Black pain? And that sent me down a rabbit hole of her references and books I've read on my own. I started reading Victoria Walcott's Race, Riots, and Roller Coasters, which shows how leisure itself became a battleground within Black life. And then I went back to a book I reference so often, Carrie K. Greenidge's The Grimkeys, which talks about how Black women shaped political life and society life in America's worst years. And then it hit me. So much of the progression of Black life, politically and economically, was shaped during this time of the Nadir. So much of what I cover are Black women blossoming during the Nadir. Historian Rayford Logan named 1877 to 1901 the Nadir, the lowest point. After Reconstruction, federal protections disappeared, and the Great Compromise of 1877 was literally called the Great Betrayal. Civil rights protections dropped, Jim Crow hardened, and violence escalated. And in 1883, the Supreme Court overturned the Civil Rights Act of 1875. And by 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson cemented segregation into law. And this is why I love shows like The Gilded Age, because they're showing Black society in New York, the education, the glamour, what society truly is like. But what most people don't realize is this is happening a few years before the Nadir fully set in. So I think it's really important when you're watching to have the context that these Black women, these Black people were facing a lot of backlash alongside the brilliance. And still, during this time, Black people responded by founding organizations, really relying on education, founding schools and organizations that would really lay the groundwork and carry us into this new era of Black people fighting back and really putting on. And this is where Ava Purkis's idea of the paradox of pleasure comes in. Because even under incalculable subjugation, Black people were still finding ways to cultivate joy. So think saloons, dance halls, church socials, word games, playing sports. Black people were going to find something to do, especially for the younger generations. They didn't want their kids to burn out from the strain of racism and the oppression of the race that they were facing. They wanted to ensure that not only themselves as adults, but the kids would want to fight on for generations to come, because we had a big fight ahead of us. And again, reading the Victoria Walcott book, which is referenced in Ava Purkis's scholarship, Black people were going to find something to do in amusement parks specifically. Like, these sites weren't just joy, they were political. Like, they were integrating these spaces. And all of this ties all the way back to the Declaration of Independence, which we forced to apply to us. We did. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These were our unalienable rights, and we knew that these were our divine rights that no one could take away from us. Joy for Black people, specifically African Americans within the United States, was preparation against racism. It was resilience against racism. Breonna, Ahmaud, George, affirmative action being struck down by the Supreme Court, 300,000 Black women being pushed out of their jobs, DEI rollbacks, and most recently, attacks on the Museum of African American History and Culture. I don't think it's outlandish to say that this feels like a modern Nadir. But here's the part I always come back to. In the middle of that first Nadir, Black people, Black women, y'all know this account, we flourished. Our brilliance did not dim. The NACW was established in 1896, an early feminist movement considered the first feminist, really. They recognized their multiple oppressions and fought against them. We have Black women writing books. We have Black women founding sororities, founding political organizations, taking a stand for something in a time that was designed to crush them. The Nadir is where we saw the rise of the Black American princess, the BAP, stylish, socially refined, and politically inclined, fighting for all those around her. The Nadir is never really the end. We always get through it.